the Minnesota Wild made their first big offseason move, I should say, as far as getting Eriksson Ek signed to an 8-year deal, which was pretty exciting. It happened really quickly. 2 days it took them to sign the contract with Eriksson Ek, according to Bill Guerin, which is always nice to hear when a player is really excited to stay somewhere and sign somewhere. And honestly, to me, that was the most important thing the Wild needed to do, aside from signing Kirill Kaprizov to a contract, which they're working on now. Fred,
by the way,
do you have any
I just
thoughts?
want to say, you say Jules very nice.
Thank you.
I appreciate the way you say that, because it actually sounds the way he would want it from Sweden. Jules. But are you surprised by the length? I mean, that's a long contract. What, 8 years?
8 years. So yeah, it is a pretty long contract. I'm not like entirely surprised by it. And especially when I found out that it took him 2 days to sign it, like clearly he wants to be here. And I do think he's a really important piece to this Minnesota Wild team. I mean, we saw him kind of grow into his game in this last season, and a lot of people were waiting for him to like get to that point where they're like, wow, he's really got potential, but he just was never able to string it together. We had Kevin Fallness on preseason this year, and he said Eriksson Ek was going to score like 40 goals. So Kevin Fallness saw this coming. Props to you, Kevin.
A lot of confidence.
A lot of confidence. But he was right in the sense that Eriksson Ek was really going to have a breakout season here. So if he's going to play the way he played this last year for these 8 years he's with the Minnesota Wild, I'm totally fine with the contract like that. I think he's been a very important piece to this team. He could be a second line center, at the very least third line. And if he's your third line center, that's a pretty deadly third line. I mean, that's where he was playing most of his time here. Can get bumped up to second as well. But the one thing that worries me about this a little bit is that I don't want fans and everyone to be like, oh, okay, we signed a good center, we can just stop working on that. It's like, no, we still need somebody better than Eriksson Ek. And no offense to him, like he's fantastic, but we need a top line center still. So I really hope that doesn't slow down the process of bringing in a guy like that, because that is going to be probably the most crucial piece to getting Kirill Kaprizov to sign a contract here, because he's made it very clear that he wants to win and he wants to play with players who are going to bring out the best in him, which is two very fair demands, if you ask me. So I hope that they work on that next. And they have said that they're in contract negotiation talk now with Kevin Fiala's agent and Kirill Kaprizov's agent. So those two things I'm sure will be coming in the near future with updates.